Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. So I had a lot of questions, and the main question I got off of my video about Springfield, Ohio, and the Haitian population is how are they affording to buy a $250,000 house? How are they affording to buy these places? How can they afford that? Well, they work. They work through a place called First Diversity Staffing. I'll show you here. Let me move the camera a little closer if I can. They work here. They got a video here.
This is First Diversity Staffing. Here, we employ, educate, and elevate by connecting quality clients to talented job candidates. Are you looking for your next employment opportunity? Stop in and discover how we can put you first here, only at First Diversity Staffing.
The way they make money is they staff menial labor jobs. We're talking meat packing plants and just like really bad jobs and these companies don't want to pay too much money and they need somebody to show up. It's really unskilled, labor intensive work. So they used to mostly work with Mexican immigrants, but now they're working with a lot of the Haitians, and they are basically getting these Haitians together. They have a bus that meets there normally, or a big van, and they all go when their shift starts. They fill up the bus or the van and they haul them to the place that they're going to go work and pack meat or whatever they do, and they go and work for their 10 or 12 hours and then they bring them back here. Okay. And so you're like, well, they work menial jobs. How can they afford to buy a $250,000 house? The government must be giving them the money. Well, no. So what's happening? I've done a lot of research on this. So what happens is, let's say they start out with a cheaper house, one of the old $25,000 houses that used to be around. They fix it up a little bit, get the bathroom working, make it livable if they need to. And this will normally be a person who, some of them are Americans, some of them are citizens of the county, but other ones are Haitian people who've been here longer. They've been here since like 2018 or 19. They've learned a little English. They've been here a while. They buy this cheap house. And it usually starts with their renting a place, but then they move up to buy a place. And so say it's a 3-bedroom house, and we're going to say like it doesn't have a basement, or they're not putting beds anywhere else but those 3 bedrooms. So they will put bunk beds in there normally. 3 to 4 bunk beds per room. Like a master bedroom will have 4, maybe a smaller bedroom will have 3. All right. And so those bunk beds then get rented out per week, and they're $200 per week. Okay, so then after they've rented them out for that week, they actually only rent them for 8 hours. So they can rent them to 3 different people who work 3 different shifts through First Diversity. And so each of those 3 people is paying $200 a week to have a place to lay down and sleep. So a lot of these places you see that are full of Haitian refugees, they'll always be out in the yard, out in the garage, out in their car, always hanging out outside. That's because they only get to bed for 8 hours a day. Then they have to kind of hang out and around until it's time for them to go to work. Plus, most of the time, the driver of the place, there is a driver, and a lot of times he does have a driver's license. He's been here long enough to get that. He's charging them like $50 a week to take them back and forth to First Diversity to go to the slave job, right? And so Now, let's do the math on that. Let's just do some math. We'll bring up the calculator. See, when you want the truth, you always have to follow the money, right? So, now we got 3 bunk beds per room. We won't even do a 4th bunk bed, right? There could be a 4th bunk bed in a master bedroom, right? And we multiply that by 2 people per bunk bed. That's 6 people per bedroom. Okay. Now, we multiply that by 3 because they rent each of those bunk beds out to 3 different people, right? So we multiply that by 3. And that's 18, okay? And so now we multiply that. This is just 1 bedroom so far. We multiply that by $200. We see that's $3,600. Now we multiply that times 3 because there's 3 bedrooms. And they might do a living room. They might do a basement. They might, there could be more than this. But we're being really, that's $10,800 per week. So now we multiply that by a year, right? And so there's like 52 weeks in a year. That's over $500,000 per year. And so they've been doing this, and this is how they're coming around and being like, now they're buying they used to buy all the cheap houses, all the $25,000 to $50,000 houses. Now they're buying $250,000 houses. And pretty soon they'll be buying houses out in the rich end of town where our mayor lives, and then something will get done about it. But right now, nothing's getting done. Right, because Mayor Rue doesn't have to put up with them, right? And I mean, I haven't had any problems with the ones next to me. They've been nice and polite and decent people. I don't have any problems. I'm just explaining how they buy a house for $250,000, right? And this is conservative. They could be bringing in more than that. Plus, we have to add in the transportation that they're charging each of those people at $50 per week. And whatever money they have left, they're spending on groceries and just basic necessities of life. And they're working their lives away, slaving at a chicken factory, packing chicken. And they're not getting ahead. They're not going to be able to save their money and go buy their own house or rent their own apartments. They're just getting by. This is why I say when you talk to most of them, they want to go back to Haiti because they didn't have to slave their life away for 12 hours a day in a chicken factory to have a bed for 8 hours a day and keep a roof over their head. Another thing that's interesting is people with temporary protected status can also buy firearms. They can fill out a 4473. There's a special thing they have to go through. But they could buy the firearm the same if they had a legal green card. So I have seen Haitians at the different gun places buying firearms. But this is how the money works, right? This is the companies, like the meat packing place, the First Diversity place, other staffing agencies are making big money. And everybody's making big money, and all those people are in the background going, excuse me, Mr. Politician, if you try to fix this and start arresting these people and getting them deported, you're not going to be elected next time around, right? So that's what's going on. That's why the police chief is told to stand down and don't arrest the Haitians. And they're not forced to follow the laws because they don't want to lose their cheap labor. Are they eating cats and dogs? I don't think so. I haven't seen any evidence of that with my own eyes. I haven't seen any video of it, any proof of it. There's one 911 call out there. There is a picture. And I thought I knew the person who took that picture. It turns out they didn't take the picture. They just got it from somewhere else. And it turns out that's in Columbus, Ohio. That's not even in Springfield. The woman who ate the cat, she's from Canton, Ohio. That's way north of us. That's liberal territory. That's not even down here in the red part of the state. I haven't seen any evidence. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I haven't seen it with my own eyes. I haven't witnessed it. I can't sit here and say, oh, they're doing this if I haven't seen it or witnessed it. Before anything else, when I deal with issues like this, I'm truthful. I'm truthful as to my knowledge and what I have seen. I have not seen them killing any ducks. I know that the duck population is down at the park. I know that there was one 911 call, but I haven't seen it. Next time you see your cat hanging in a tree, take your phone out and take pictures or video it, rather than telling a friend about it who makes a Facebook post about it, right? And then we'll have some evidence. As many telephones with cameras as there are out there today, everybody's got access to a camera. If I saw my cat or my dog hanging in the tree next door, you better believe I would be videoing it, right? I mean, why is there no video evidence of this? I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I haven't seen it. There are a lot of car accidents. There are very bad car accidents. They are driving into houses, flipping over cars, hitting cars. That is absolutely crazy. What am I going to do about it? I'm not going to drive in Springfield any more than I have to. I'm going to be very careful because that's all I can do. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not the mayor. I'm not the police chief. I can't fix that. I can go to the city council meetings, and I have been to earlier council meetings and tell them that I want them to do that, but they never listen. So what's the point, you know? So I also said in that video that I'm not political, and I'm not. I used to be political. I'm a libertarian. I have a libertarian core of beliefs. I worked really hard on the Gary Johnson campaign, both times that he ran. And no matter how much work you did, no matter how many signs you printed out of your own pocket and went and delivered them, no matter how many people you went out and knocked on doors and talked to, no matter how much you did, right? Just constantly, I paid for radio advertisements out of my own pocket, right? And it meant he got like 1.5% of the vote or something. I mean, it was nothing. So I don't really actively like go out and campaign and work for the politics anymore. I know who I'm going to vote for. I will talk to people about who I'm going to vote for if they want to talk about it, if they want to have a discussion. I find most left-leaning people can't have a civil discussion. It's just like when you make good reasons and you start to point out why their reasons are wrong, then all of a sudden you're just a big fat poopy head, right? And they start throwing the insults. So I'm not really into doing that anymore. If you want to make change, you're not going to make change by watching Fox News. You're going to make change by going to your local representatives, like your commission meetings. I've been there before. Going to Columbus and go to the state house and find your representatives and stuff and talk to them. I've spoken before Senate Judiciary Committees before. I actually got the one time I testified, I actually got wrote up in the Columbus Dispatch for it. So, you know, those things actually do help. I've seen laws that they've wanted to pass that I find to be unconstitutional, and I go and speak about it, and all of a sudden the law don't get passed, right? Those help to change things. So that's all I got, folks. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.